All right, we are delighted, and we are extremely privileged right now to have one of the best fighters in the world right now. He's the current WBO Lightweight Champion of the world, all the way from Manchester, England. He's joining us tonight here in Las Vegas. Actually, he's in Manchester right now, but we would love to have him one day here in Las Vegas, fight in the bright lights of Sin City. But without further ado, Terry Flanagan, the champ, is here. He's on ATG Radio. It's a great honor to have you on here tonight, champ. How are you?
I'm good, fine. I'm fine, thank you. Just waiting on these big fights to come now. I mean, I've been promised them now for the last 4 or 5 fights, and hopefully the next one can be the big one.
Yeah, Terry, I want to kind of get into the fight that was supposed to happen in September. I believe it was September. You were supposed to defend your world title against your mandatory in the WBO, Felix Verdejo. There was a lot of conflicting reports going on. The fight. It was actually a really interesting fight. He was going to come over to the UK, challenge you there. We heard that you hurt your hand, I believe it was, and then there was rumors going around, not just the injury, but there was issues with the purse, the money. There was issues with weight. We also heard rumors that you weren't really interested in fighting at lightweight anymore. You wanted to move up to super lightweight. Is there anything you can clarify that whole situation with the fallout of the Felix Verdejo fight?
The Verdejo fight's been a fight that's meant to have been happening for probably close to 2 years now. I mean, when I won the title, it could have been in line for the title shot then. So his name's popped up a few times, but it's just one of them fights. It's sort of like it's held me back in my career somewhat. I mean, after him coming off his motorbike, and then he got injured again, and now he slipped in the shower, and now he's been dropped out the rankings. So it's one of them fights that I've always thought would be one of the fights that I'd have in the near future, but it just seems to be like holding me back a bit now. So yeah, he's been dropped out the rankings. Different belts and put in, but like I say, I want a unification fight. But the 10 stone thing, I mean, it was taught that Crawford was vacating, which I think he is, and the chance of moving up in boxing for the WBO Lightweight title. I've been looking forward for that and become a 2-weight world champion. But first and foremost, I wanted to unify the lightweight division before I did that. So either a unification fight or possible move up to 10 stone and fight for chance to become a 2-weight world champion. That's what I'd be interested in, and them too, really.
Now, when I mentioned there, it's great. I appreciate you clarifying that. And I'm going to go back to Felix Verdejo for a moment. He, with all the stuff that you had mentioned, he has been looking like he's been running into some bad luck lately. He went back, obviously, after the injury, him slipping in the shower. He goes back to Puerto Rico, where he's from, and basically his whole island has been washed away, no electricity. Here in the United States, I know we're making efforts and trying to help the island, but it's a real bad situation. I'm not trying to make you a nice guy, champ, but is there any words of encouragement? Obviously he was supposed to be one of your rivals, and he's running into some bad luck. Would you want to send a message of encouragement to Felix Verdejo, maybe to get back? Hopefully he can get back on track.
I mean, Verdejo's a great fighter. I mean, I've been watching him for the last couple of years now, a great up-and-coming fighter, and I still think he will end up boxing for a world title and even winning a world title. But yeah, with what's gone on in Puerto Rico, it's a shame, really, a natural disaster, but it's one of them things that happens. It's same with the WBO belt, that's Puerto Rican, so even I think their headquarters is a bit of a mess at the minute, and hopefully everyone can come together and help them out.
Now I want to get back into you, champ. There's a lot of things going on right now in the division. You're currently a world champion. this past April, you made your 5th world title defense of the WBO belt by defeating Peter Petrov. You know, and there's some other guys out there right now in the 135-pound division. You know, in my opinion, you're the best in the division. I've always considered you the number one guy since you defeated Jose Zepeda when you won the vacant title. What are your thoughts on guys like Jorge Linares, Mikey Garcia? They say they would want to fight you, but they're more interested in fighting each other, and they're kind of dismissing you as the top guy in the lightweight division right now.
I do truly believe I am the best in the division, and I do believe I'm avoided. I mean, Frank's got me everything I've asked for, from being British champion to a world title eliminator against Stephen Ormond, which was a tough fight, and then the actual world title fight has got me some defences, some tough defences, and some defences that weren't so tough. But listen, I can only fight who they put in front of me. I've been calling for unification fights now for the past year and a half, 2 years, and I want these big fights. I mean, I believe Linares is avoiding me. I think he's been offered more money to come over here than he took to fight Anthony Crolla, and he still chose to fight Anthony. And same with Campbell. Campbell was his mandatory, but a unification fight overstood that. So there's only one reason in my eyes that Linares don't want to fight. I think Linares thinks my style causes him problems.
There's another champion. There's another champion, Robert Easter. I believe he has the IBF strap. You know, talking about unification. He's a pretty talented fighter. I mean, me personally, I can't see that fight happening. Is there any chance of you and him locking up in a unification? Do you see that fight happening?
I don't see that fight happening. No, I mean, I think he fights in his hometown a lot, and he won't be willing to travel, and don't think I'd be willing to go there unless it was on mutual. I'd come to the States on like mutual ground. But yeah, looking at Robert Easter in my eyes, I see him as probably the weakest of the champions, but it's still a great fighter. So that says a lot. The weakest of the four of the best in the division, but still a great fighter. So, but I just believe I wanted the Linares fight mostly because he's been over there to the UK. He's known over there. He's well liked. I think he's based over there at the minute. He's beat a local lad from where I'm from, just 5-10 minutes up the road, and people see him as the best in the division. So I want to prove myself against what people think is the best. And when I beat him, it puts me up there. I am the best.
Now, let's say, you know, Ray Beltran now is your mandatory. You know, if that fight doesn't make financial, economical sense for you, or if you do decide, hey, I'm going to move up to super lightweight, junior welterweight, what are some of the big fights? I know there were talks earlier this year, and I think even last year, you know, I mentioned with the Verdejo fight, of you coming here to fight in the United States. I think it would be a treat. I think you coming here to fight some of the best fighters that here in the States we have to offer against, you know, one of the best in the UK, period, and yourself, would be a great event. What has prevented you? Is it money? Is it just the opportunity or the reluctancy of some of these top guys that are not willing to fight you? What has prevented you from coming here to the United States to really, truly be a world champion to fight abroad?
Yeah, of course. I mean, fighting in the States is something I've always wanted to do from being a kid, from watching them big fights in Vegas. And when Ricky Alman over there, he was an idol of mine, the fans they brought. So, yeah, it would have been a dream come true, but it just hasn't seemed to come off for me at the minute. But I'm sure I can see myself in the near future. I mean, someone was willing to put the money up and bring me out there, I'd jump at the chance. I mean, it's a dream come true. It's something I've always wanted to do. So, yeah, I'd love to box out there. I'll box out there at some point, but hopefully I'm still world champion when I do.
What are your thoughts on Eddie Hearn's expansion to the United States? And, is that something you hope your promoter, Frank Warren, may be willing to do sometime in the future?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's good, isn't it? It's good for the British boxers to fight out there, but I'm not under Eddie, so it's not something I can comment on, really. I mean, it'd be a good thing if we could get out there at some point and get the big fights out there, but at the minute, that's not the case for me.
I hate to beat the Anthony Crolla issue. I mean, you and him are both local fighters. You and him would do massive business if you had a fight in Manchester. I know looking past it, if all else fails, do you take the opportunity, and I know this would be in your words, to smash Anthony Crolla in front of your hometown?
Of course, that fight is never going to happen. His team won't even consider that fight. I mean, there's a world title shot there for him, and he's talking about possibly fighting Linares again, which nobody wants to see, or fighting Luke Campbell. I think it might be like the fact that I'm a local lad and he's a local lad. I think he'd rather get beat off someone from overseas rather than get beat off someone from the same area as him. I mean, because a lot of boxing fans who are not even boxing fans, they have Sky Sports, so they get boxing anyway, so they just watch it. I box on BT and Box Nation, so with BT now on board, people are going to start seeing me more and standing up and taking note. But yeah, just the casual fans, probably who know nothing about boxing, probably think Anthony Crolla has a chance against me. But in my eyes, I think not an easy fight, because there's no easy fights at world level. But I still feel like I win that fight comfortably.
Me personally, I've been wanting to see that fight just because of the rivalry of Manchester there. It's always, I remember a while back he fought Kieran Farrell, and we had done a little something with him and Kieran Farrell. It was the Battle of Manchester, and it was an interesting fight. Unfortunately for Kieran, that it didn't end well.
Yeah, I was calling for that fight a year ago when we were both world champion, and all Manchester Showdown unification fight, and their team won't even acknowledge it. So it just goes to show you what they think.
Now, okay, I'm gonna kind of go backwards again. There's the talks of Mikey Garcia, Jorge Linares potentially fighting early next year. If that fight happens, who do you see winning that fight?
I don't know. I mean, they're both great fighters, so it's hard to judge. Anything can happen. It's boxing, but personally, I just think Garcia hits that bit harder than when I've watched Linares' recent fights. I think he looked a bit vulnerable. I mean, I know he had the easy night against Crolla, the last fight, but in the first fight against Crolla, I was ringside and I watched it early on. He looked worried when Crolla come out, and he was putting on him a bit. I know he'd not boxed for a bit, but looking at Robert Diaz ringside, they looked worried. They looked like I thought Crolla could have kept that pace going, could have possibly got the win. So personally, if Anthony Crolla was close to beating him in that first fight, I think Mikey Garcia should beat him. But like I say, I'm a bad judge of boxing when I'm not in there myself. But I think I think Garcia might edge it.
Well, when's the target? We know we were searching for big fights. When's the target return? I mean, you haven't fought since April. We're reaching towards the end of the year. It doesn't really look like you're going to get a title defense in before before 2018. When does it look like you're going to be getting back in the ring, no matter who it is you fight?
As soon as possible, really. Hopefully early next year. It's looking like now, but like I say, I'm speaking to Frank regular. He's adamant. He's trying to get me in a big fight, so hopefully he can do that. But like I say, with Beltran being mandatory now, I mean, as soon as I beat Beltran again, it's going to be, he's beat a fighter who's past it. He's old now, and he should be beating people like that. But like I say, I mean, same with Petrov again. When I beat Petrov, I beat him comfortably. I barely lost a round, and people say, "Oh yeah, he's not fought no one before that fight." There's people like Lomachenko was tipping Petrov to win. So, but now the daft casual fans in the UK say I've not fought no one because they've not heard of Petrov. But Petrov was a good fighter, a good level fighter. They probably beat the likes of Anthony Crolla, Ricky Burns, people like that, and I just made easy work of him. So when I do, if it does end up being the mandatory, which is Ray Beltran, and then I make easy work of him, it's going to be like, oh yeah, but he was old and past it. So I could say I just want to get them big fights now at lightweight before I outgrow the weight and have to move up.
But you know what, Terry? You're a young man. You're only 28 years old. But if people look at your record and they go in there and they dissect your record and they look at, how many tough fights that you've been through. I think your 8-year professional career. You've really had a long career for being a young man. You had a long, old career. If you look, 33 fights. You've been in there again. Like I said, with a lot of rough individuals. Me personally, and I know the rest of the ATG Radio staff, we believe you're due for that Jorge Linares type fight, a unification fight, a big fight, whether it was, like a Lomachenko or a Terrence Crawford, one of the big names that have just recently started emerging. And now I'm saying this as you're being a young man, but with a long career, with all the frustrations, how much longer do you plan on boxing, staying a professional within your career?
I plan on going for. I've got no plans of retirement. It don't even enter my head. This is what I'm saying. People say to me, "What are you going to do when your boxing career's over?" But I just don't think of that. I mean, I'm still fresh. I'm still hungry. Still want. I look at each fight as another chapter and another finger to prove people wrong and show people what I'm about. So, yeah, once I think that hunger goes, that'd be it. But for now, I'm hungrier than ever. I want to prove I'm the best. I want to fight the best to do that. But it's not happening. It's not my fault. I know. I'm sick of telling people, we're saying, when you're going to get these big fights, when you're going to get the big fights, and I'm sick of going on about it to people and telling them what I want and what's happening. But hopefully, with a bit of luck, we can get the big fight next, and then hopefully a unification fight, win that, and then see where I want to go from there. Whether I want to go and try and win a title at 10 stone or start the next chapter and win a title at 10 stone or go again at lightweight, I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy at the minute with where I am and how things are going. Yeah, just the only thing that I'm frustrated with is I'm not being able to get these big fights, but hopefully they can happen.
Well, Terry, and I mean this. I've been watching you. The first when I seen you fight Diego Magdaleno and just completely obliterate him. I was well aware of you before, but to me that was your first. It was your introduction to me at the world level, not Terry Flanagan, the domestic British fighter from Great Britain. You showed like, okay, this guy's for real. He's a world level caliber fighter. And then you just going through your last couple opponents after Magdaleno. I consider you having the potential. You're on your way right now. You have a legendary career. You're on the way right now. You stay on that path. I have faith in you, Terry, you being one of the greatest fighters, not just, Great Britain has ever produced, but in the history of the sport. I think you're on that pace. Again, knock on wood, no injuries, no, uncontrollable setbacks at anything. But, again, I've been a fan of you since that Magdaleno fight. And, you just see something special into somebody. And, it's like I said in the beginning of it when I introduced you here, it's a great honor to have such a great fighter on here. But that's, in my opinion, that's where you're on your way to going. International Boxing Hall of Fame. 20 years from now, they're going to be mentioning Terry Flanagan as one of the all-time greats.
Cheers, thank you. Appreciate that.
My pleasure,
yeah,
Terry.
And like I say,
no, go ahead.
Go on.
No, you go.
Just back to the Magdaleno performance. I mean, they're the performances I'm capable of even better. That's not even me at 60%. I know if you ask anyone when they see me in the gym, I'm just a next level to that. So yeah, the Magdaleno performance was probably my best performance so far. But I had a point to prove that night after beating Zepeda, and the way it ended, people were saying I wasn't a true world champion because of the way that fight ended. So I had to go out and make a statement, and I did that. And
that's what made me like a true fan of you, Terry. And I'll give you this opportunity here. I know you got a lot of supporters, you got a lot of fans around the world. I know a lot of listeners from the UK are going to be tuning into this just because you're here. So again, we appreciate you. We appreciate the people tuning in. To all your supporters, to anybody that's a detractor of Turbo Terry, please send a message to all in all.
I'd just like to say thanks for supporting me, and just to stay on board and listen. We'll, when we get in big fights, I'll come through them and show and prove to everyone I'm the best. And people who have been there from the start on the smaller shows, because I've had nothing handed to me, done everything the hard way. So thank you very much for staying loyal and sticking by me, and the good times are coming.
Now, Terry, once we get word of your next bout, the opponent, we'd love to have you to come back on the show to talk about it. We just wanted to see what you're up to. We know you got your training, you got family and stuff like that. You're just focusing on there. We'd love to have you come back on the show, talk some more boxing with us.
Of course, yeah.
All right, Terry Flanagan at Terry Flanagan 5 on Twitter. I think just search Terry Flanagan on Instagram, all social media. Terry Flanagan, a WBO Lightweight Champion of the world. Looking forward to you hopefully hopping back in the ring early 2018. Turbo Terry, man, we appreciate your time on the show tonight, man. You have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless, man. Take care, Terry.